Hey everyone, it is Black Friday. And I am so glad you joined me back on my channel today because I'm going to give you some recommendations of things you should buy for your fantasy readers this holiday season. But before I get into it, make sure that you share this video with your friends so they get my future content. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell so you get your notifications for my new videos. It really does help me out and I would greatly appreciate it. And now, let's get on to my fantasy recommendations for you. Before I do, I've got one disclaimer. These books that I am recommending to you are from self-published authors. Yep, you heard it right. They are not published by traditional publishing houses. They self-published, did it on their own, or with a group of people that help them out. So they're also known as indie authors, independent authors. And the reason I'm doing this is because I feel that a lot of times indie authors are not well known, not well thought of. Their books aren't picked up very much, and sometimes they kind of get a bad rap. Now that's not always the case. Independent publishing is becoming more popular, especially with the Amazon self-publishing wing. A lot of authors self-publish with Amazon. I know I did. And so I think it's becoming more and more popular, and I think it's going to give traditional publishing a run for its money, but not yet. You know, the indie authors still really have to get their names out there and work hard to market themselves. And so I thought, what a great idea to showcase some of my favorite independent authors on my channel today. Not only will it make a great gift for your fantasy reader, but it's also a gift to those independent authors who work so hard to write and publish these books. Okay, so let's get right into it. I want to start with Stephen Collier. He has written a series called the Landkiss Saga, and the first book, which I'll post up here, is called Valley of Embers. It follows Cole Rayna, who is an Ember, and Embers are fire wielders. I knew I'd get it yet. And he is part of a group that guards his city in the hopes that they will be able to fend off any evil that attacks their city and affects their way of life. Because in the past, there was a great catastrophe, a great evil that did attack their city, coming from the netherworld, and they were vanquished, or at the very least set back by one of the city's heroes who supposedly lost his life in the battle. But as they come to discover, those beasts are starting to become active again, and it may be that their hero did not necessarily meet his doom after all. So Cole has been set on a journey to find the hero if he is still alive. And there are certain things that make Cole very reluctant to trust this person that was so well admired and put on a pedestal by his people, because some other things that he has heard. I won't go into it too much. I don't want to give many spoilers, but Valley of Embers is a fantastic book, and I highly recommend you pick it up, and maybe think about picking up the entire series for your fantasy reader. Top-notch stuff. Another one I want to recommend to you is Graham Austin King. His first book, Fae, The Wild Hunt, is set in a somewhat modern world where the Fae have all but become lost to humanity. Not only have they not turned up in many hundreds of years, but the mysteries associated with the Fae have also almost been completely forgotten. But now the barrier between the Fey realm and the human world is beginning to blur. And the sadistic Fey are beginning to show themselves and creep out into the human world to take captives and to wreak all sorts of chaos. And one little boy and his mother are caught up in this realm and are having to deal with the effects of the Fae coming back. Really well written book. I highly recommend it. There are 3 books in the series written by Graham Austin King. He's written other books as well, not just this series, but he's very well loved as an independent author, and I really think you should check out his books. The third author I want to recommend to you is Jesse Teller. His first book is called Leafdom, and I'll show it up here. And it takes place in a universe that Jesse has created called Paralisk. So it is a multiverse of sorts, and it encompasses a whole bunch of different books. He's written numerous different books. I think he's got like 10 or maybe more that he has released. And Leafdom is just a really, really fantastic book. It also takes place in the realm of the Fae. It follows a Fae called Gentry Mandrake, who has been cast out of his home due to the fact that he is just so different and rebellious and not well liked by most of the Fae. And so he gets thrust into the human realm, and he happens upon the dwelling of a child that he was assigned to, because a lot of the Fae are assigned to children in this world to kind of watch over and observe them and see what's happening in the human realm. But there is an attempt made on this child's life, which we come to find out later was a mandate by a very evil demonic wizard. And Gentry has to make the choice whether he is going to protect the child and get involved, which he has been expressly told not to do, or if he's going to just stand back and let it happen. And he, of course, makes the choice to get involved in the chaos that ensues and protect the child. I won't go too much into it. I don't want to spoil it, but it is a great book for any fantasy reader to read. I highly recommend it. The prose is just out of this world. Jesse has such a command of the English language, and his creative mind is just extraordinary. The scenarios and the worlds that he has created are just fantastic. It is just a beautiful work of art to read, besides being a really fantastic story and just a lot of fun. It's really action-packed, very unique. I highly recommend it. Another of his more popular series is the Manhunters series, and I'll show you one of the book covers up here. Again, I mean, this is just a gorgeous book cover. I love it. And there are 3 books in the series. You can buy it either an ebook or written form, like any of these books I've talked about today. But it's a very, very popular series. It has put him in the self-published fantasy book contest run by Mark Lawrence, who you would know from Prince of Thorns and other books like that. He runs a contest for self-published authors to submit their books to and get noticed and possibly even get a publishing deal if it so happens. And so Jesse's been in this contest several times and gone really high up in the ranks. I really think you should read his books and buy them for your fantasy readers. And the final book, and by no means least in this list, I have no books that I am recommending here that are not top-notch, is the Paternus series by Dirk Ashton. The first book is Paternus: Rise of Gods, and it is just a really amazing book in its own right. The series is great. It follows Fiona and Zeke as two of the main characters who are kind of different and unique. They don't really fit in too well, but they don't really think they're that different from anybody else, but it turns out they are. They are linked to the old gods from many different myths and cultures and religions, and I mean a lot. There are a lot of different myths that Dirk draws from in this series. It has been compared to American Gods in some ways, and I can see the similarities, but man alive, it is just completely different and unique. The way he weaves the old gods from these different myths into the story, and the different scenes where you see these gods show up intermixed with the story of the main characters. It is just a really, really great read. I can't recommend it enough. And of course, like I've said before, the covers are gorgeous. I mean, it's just the colors really pop and it really draws you in. If you are not set on picking up this series for your fantasy readers, what are you thinking? Come on, you need to get it. It's a really great read. Dirk is really pleasant to chat with online. He really interacts with his fans a lot, and I think he's set to become a super, super popular author. He already is, but I think he's set to become even more popular than he already is. So pick up Paternus, Rise of Gods for your fantasy fans this holiday season. And again, as with all of these books, they can be picked up in paperback or digital on ebook, whether from Amazon or other sellers. And oh man, I can't gush about these books enough. There's so many other great self-published fantasy authors out there that can be recommended. Some of them have been picked up for publishing deals after becoming so popular with their books. And I think you would do well to look up these that I recommended. But also, if you go on Amazon, there's a little section there where you can see other authors that are similar to them. And you'll find a lot of those other self-published authors in those links under these authors' names. So check it out. Make sure you purchase these books for your fantasy fans. I think I think your gifts will be very well received when they open these books and see what you've got for them. So I can't believe I forgot to mention one of my favorite self-published authors in this video. I just must like his books so much that I completely spaced it. Anyway, you need to check out Michael R. Fletcher. He writes the Manifest Delusions series, and he's written several other books. I'll leave a picture of one of the Manifest Delusions books up here. But it's just a fantastic series, very well written, action-packed, very unique magic system. It takes place in a world where people's delusions become reality. And I'll give you an example. One of the characters has multiple different personalities, and each of his personalities manifests as a different doppelganger. So it's just completely unique. I can't really describe it here. You just have to read it. So make sure to buy that for your fantasy fans too. And now that that's done, I'll let you get back to the rest of the video. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are you familiar with some of these books? Have you read them before? Have you never heard of them? Have you been on the fence with them? Maybe you could put a bug in the ear of the person you're thinking about buying for and say, hey, have you ever heard of these books? Maybe they have. Get their feedback on it. Don't tell them you're buying it for them necessarily unless they don't mind spoilers, but yeah, really, really good books. Make sure to subscribe and share this video with your friends. I hope you have a great Black Friday. And until my next video, make sure that you are reading more books. Have a great day.